What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is about the highest paid cast members of Game of Thrones. And let me tell you, you're going to be surprised at who's the top paid cast members, not who you expect. I want to thank everybody that supports my work at patreon.com. I wouldn't continue to be able to do this work without your support. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you enjoy this video, hit that like. Let's get into it. Now, when Game of Thrones first came out on HBO, a lot of people were unfamiliar with it, although it was books and before the show was created, they used a lot of unknown actors. And so a lot of people were unfamiliar with these actors. And now that the show's been running for almost a decade, they've made household names out of a lot of the top stars. It's pretty much established the careers of most of its cast. And so as the show has become a cultural phenomenon that we know today, the salaries of the cast members have spiked. And who has the highest net worth, meaning who has the total income the largest, who's worth the most money. And so we're going to get into that, and I'm going to break down a little bit of how they got that salary. Now, first off, I want to say that because of the popularity of the show, and it's also television's most watched show. It's the most popular series on HBO of all time. Okay, it's my favorite show personally that I've ever seen. This show, because it's so great and popular, HBO has spared no expense. Now, for the final 6-episode season, it's going to be like nothing you ever seen. Typically, an episode of TV that costs around $10 million is an absolute blowout, but this season, each episode is going to cost around $15 million a piece. That's a huge budget for a TV show. And its lead actors are going to eat up a chunk of that $15 million. But if anybody's watched Game of Thrones, you'll see that the set, production, costumes, location is all top notch. They spare no expense. You really can believe the world that they're in. Now, in 2014, Emilia Clarke, who's known as Daenerys Targaryen, Kit Harington, Jon Snow, Lena Headey, Cersei Lannister, Peter Dinklage, Tyrion Lannister, and Nicholas Castor-Waldau, Jaime Lannister, reportedly were making about $300,000 an episode, which was huge. And for a top 10 TV drama, that's a lot. But now it's up to $500,000 an episode for the final 2 seasons, according to Vanity Fair. And they confirm these figures. Now, the reason they say that it's for a drama is because comedies and action movies, they pay more because they bring in larger crowds. But for a drama, that is a huge amount, and it's one of the top payouts out of any drama that's on television. And I'm going to break it down and compare it to other dramas later. First off is Sophie Turner, aka Sansa Stark. She makes $150,000 an episode and has a net worth of $6 million. Now, she plays Sansa Stark. When she started off the show, she was just around 16 or 17. She's in what they call the B tier of the cast members, along with former member Marjorie Tyrell, as well as Arya Stark, Maisie Williams. And so it's been confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed how much she's making for season 8, but most cast members got a raise for season 8. And so I'm assuming that she's probably gone up from 150,000 to maybe even 250 or 300,000. Everybody is expecting a significant pay raise. She's also blown up since Game of Thrones, starring in X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, which is coming out soon. And she's also the face of Wella Hair Care. Now, her sister on the show, Maisie Williams, was also making $150K per episode in 2014, and she has a net worth of $6 million. She started off the show when she was around 13 or 14. She's known as Arya Stark, one of my favorite characters on the show. She's also in the B tier category, and so she's also, because everybody got a raise for season 7 and 8. She's also reportedly gotten a raise, but it hasn't been confirmed by Celebrity Net Worth. Now, everybody from the A tier was making $300,000, and they got a boost up to $500,000 per episode. So they're expecting that she probably went from 150 to 250 or 300. She's also going to be in the X-Men film, The New Mutants, coming out this year. She's been in Doctor Who. She also has her own social media app and production company, Daisy Chain Productions. So she's blown up ever since joining the show. Next up, we have Lena Headey, aka Cersei Lannister. She has $500,000 an episode for the last 2 seasons and is a net worth of $9 million. Now, she's been in a few movies, and I've seen her before, but she was never the star of the movie. And the one movie that I did see her as the star, it wasn't a big budget movie. Nevertheless, $9 million may be lower than some of the other cast members, but $9 million is nothing to sneeze at. Now, she is also one of the most hated characters on the show, and also is part of the reason the show is still successful. She has, because of that negotiation of $500,000 per episode, that made $6.5 million for the last 2 seasons. So that pretty much boosted up her entire net worth. She's also been in movies Fighting With My Family, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and Mortal Instrument, City of Bones, and has also done voiceover work. Next up is Kit Harington, aka Jon Snow. Now, he's been making $500,000 an episode and has a net worth of $12 million. A lot of people think he's the star of the show. Game of Thrones is really an ensemble cast, meaning a lot of different people are needed to make the show work. But if it would be a single star, he could arguably be it. Now, it makes sense that he's making $500,000 an episode, and because of that, that last 2 seasons brought him $6.5 million, which is half his net worth. He was making $300,000 an episode, and now it's boosted up. He's done voiceover work for How to Train Your Dragon, and he's also the face of Jimmy Choo Menswear. He's done voiceover work and ads for Nissan Infiniti and Dolce & Gabbana with his co-star Daenerys Targaryen. So Jon Snow does know something after all. Meanwhile, next up is Daenerys Targaryen, who has a slightly larger net worth of $13 million and makes $500,000 an episode. Now, as Daenerys Targaryen, aka Khaleesi, she is also one of the main characters of the show and in the Fab Five lead cast members group. And she got the $500,000 per episode raise for the final 2 seasons, as with the rest of the Fab Five, which equals $6.5 million. Now, she has done work as in the Terminator Genesis movie. She's also done campaigns with brands like Dior Jewelry, Dolce & Gabbana, and also in films like that Solo, a Star Wars story, which was actually a pretty good movie. And she's going to rise even more with her fan base. Next up, we got Peter Dinklage, aka Tyrion Lannister. He has a net worth of $15 million with $500K per episode. He's actually one of the biggest stars on the show, and his stock has soared through the roof. He made $6.5 million, like the Fab Five of the show has made for the final 2 seasons. But he's also the only cast member to have won an Emmy, and in fact has 3. He actually even did a movie on HBO, My Dinner with Hervé, where he played the plane. And so he actually did a damn good job in that movie. I liked it. Also, he's done Avengers Infinity War, and he plans to probably make another reappearance in the Avengers Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he's done voiceover work for the Angry Birds movie. He was in 3 billboards outside of Ebbing. He's just been all over the place, and he's probably the top little guy in Hollywood, to be honest. He's done great work. And finally, the highest net worth out of everybody is Jaime Lannister. He has $16 million net worth, believe it or not, and makes $500,000 an episode also. Now, Jaime Lannister is a unique character because he went from one of the most hated characters to probably being one of the most liked. And he's made $6.5 million in the final 2 seasons, and that increased his net worth to 16 mil, according to Celebrity Net Worth. Now, they say most of Nicholas Coster-Waldau's net worth comes from roles in the film Shot Caller and 3 Things, which he also executive produced, as well as L'Oreal Paris's men's products. So he's doing a lot of different things, got a lot of irons in the fire, as Jaime Lannister would, and it's increased his net worth. Now, to give you an idea of where they stack up against other shows, in terms of a drama, NCIS Mark Harmon makes the most per episode at $525,000 per episode at CBS. And that's a huge amount for a drama. Now, Amazon had a show they was trying to do with Robert De Niro as the lead, and Bobby D was going to bring in $775,000 per episode, but the show didn't go through. Now, after Mark Harmon, it's the 5 Game of Thrones stars, and they bring in the rear with Claire Danes from the show Homeland on Showtime, which is also pretty good. She got $450. Now, according to comedies, it's a whole nother ballpark, because the top actors on Big Bang Theory each bring in $900,000 per episode, which is a huge amount. And the reason why they make almost $1 million an episode is it's a top show on network television. But not only that, network television has more viewers than cable, and they are able to charge more money to advertisers. Therefore, they make more money, and then they can pay the people, the stars of the show, more money. So everything from Seinfeld to Friends to Big Bang Theory will always make more money than cable, because it's more viewers. Okay, now Ballers HBO does pay The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, $650,000, but that's because he's such a well-known big name actor. I think he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood as far as male or female, and his movies are all been successful. So to get him to commit to a TV show, they had to bring the bag. So other than that, if it wasn't for his star power, he wouldn't have gotten that much. So what do you guys think? Who surprised you the most? Who do you think that was going to be number one as far as the net worth out of the Game of Thrones cast? Do you think Game of Thrones actors should get paid more or less or equal to those that are on CBS? I know I personally believe they should be paid more because the show is more entertaining and more difficult, but I understand how business works. Anyway, it's sad the Game of Thrones is coming to an end. I'm looking forward to your comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.